to develop a purpose for the topic, so wish I had a little bit more time to practice, but that's enough. That's enough insecurities out. All right. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, thank you for letting me come up here and provide my speech. So I wanted to talk about something that I've dealt with and struggled with over past 10 plus years. And I don't think I'm the only one. When I used to live in Chicago, this is pre-pandemic, and so I would go in the office 4 to 5 times a week. And ambitious in my career, I'd often work late, eat dinner at the office, not get back home until 8 or 9 p.m. And every time I come back home, my cat Mew Mew would always, my cat Mew Mew would always do the same thing. When I would open the door to our master bedroom, my cat Mew Mew would dash out the door immediately with a guilty look on his face. And when I would go to the bathroom where the litter box is, every time, here's the litter box, and I can still picture it in my head. Here's a big litter box. He's a 25-pound cat, so he's really large. Litter box partially filled, but next to the litter box is a pile of fresh cat poop. And a pile of fresh cat poop, and if I didn't pick up my clothes after I was taking a shower, sometimes he would drag my socks or my boxers to do a poor job of covering up his poop. So why did he do it? He didn't have health issues. He didn't have any psychological issues. He did that to send me a message, which was, you work too much. And it's fair. I think we're not all, I don't think I'm alone in this. We all work a lot. If you were to take a look at any sort of statistic, any sort of data out there, numbers might be slightly different, but they all tell the same story, that overall, the majority of us, we work too long hours, and the majority of us have poor work-life balance. And if left unchecked, it can lead to several things, and I'll speak from personal experience as well as observations of our friends, close colleagues. It can lead to burnout, depression, can lead to a drop in your physical health. Most importantly for me, it leads to missed time with family and friends. I'm 35 years old, and mentally I still feel 25. And at times it's, when I see my mother, it's because I feel like I'm still 25, it's tough to see the wisdom lines and the salt and pepper in her hair. Where was I going with this? So, in order for me to, it's tough to see that with my mom, and I've done several things over the years to really try to achieve a better work-life balance. I'm not perfect at it, but I'll share some of the things that has worked for me. The first thing is finding the right manager. Now, I work in HR consulting. I see a lot of data. You would think that pay and benefits is the number one at the top of the list for why an employee goes to a company and stays at the company. And that's true. But the number one reason why people leave a company is because of their managers. I worked at a company where he wasn't my manager per se, but the CEO would walk up and down the hallways from 5 p.m. to 5:30 just to see whose butts were still in the seats.
Wow.
Well, as a junior analyst, I left at 5 p.m. once, and I had a director half jokingly say, "Is it a half day today?"
Oh my God.
So having a right manager, I think, is really important, and a good manager would also ensure that you have the right priorities in place, which brings me to my second point. Being able to draw boundaries and understand what's important in your life. I fall victim to this. I know some of you probably fall victim to this. When I'm on PTO, I still work. Mm-hmm. I still answer emails, right? And you have to remind yourself that the world is not going to dive and burn if you don't respond to a particular email. And a good manager once told me that, he said, "Alex, this is earlier in my days when I was super focused on work and worked long hours, and he told me, he's like, you're not gonna remember this project you're working on 2 years from now, right? Spend time with your family, spend time with your dad. The last thing I want to mention here is something that's worked for me, and something that another one of my managers has told me was, be a 3, not a 4. What that means is that in a typical corporate space, when they evaluate employee performance, they typically assess you on a 4-point rating scale. 3 means you're perfectly doing your job at full competency. And at a 4, you're exceeding expectations. You're going above and beyond. Now, I design pay programs for a living, and part of my job is to tie the pay program, design it so it properly differentiates pay for those that are top performers. And while we'll never tell a client this, while the design might be right, the execution is a bit lacking. And I'll say that most of the times, the additional effort you put in to get that 4 rating is just not worth it from a life standpoint. So just to wrap this up, life is short. I think we owe it to ourselves to have a meaningful personal life outside of our professional life. Going back to my cat, Mew Mew. Today, I think I've done a little bit better. He doesn't poop outside the litter box. He doesn't drag my dirty laundry to cover his poop. What he does do, and it's a nice reminder at times, is that if I am working too late, or if I'm physically present but mentally not there, he'll chew on cords, he'll scratch my arm, he'll chew on my cabinet doors. And it's just a nice reminder to take a step back, and work is not everything. So thank you, Mew Mew. Thank you all.
It was a great speech with a lot of reflections, because I'm absolutely sure most of us can resonate on that way, how we work and how much time and effort we put at work, right? And it's absolutely true. It's not all. And especially in the corporate world, those of us in the corporate world, we sometimes feel unappreciated. So very, very good and valid points to think and reflect. Thank you very much, Alex.
Mhm.